As we all know, there have been numerous K-pop secrets revealed in the past, ranging from idols being prohibited to use their personal phones to companies putting a stop to their artists' love lives. However, these secrets seem to run much deeper and darker than we all thought. Because of the recent revelations from Laboum's Yujeong, K-pop companies are once again criticized for their disturbing and over-the-top ways of managing their idols. When Yujeong appeared on the popular YouTube channel Konso, no one expected that she would make some damning expose towards her company. She appeared on the show together with Soo from Lovely, since the two and their groups used to be really close. However, according to them, it was very difficult to stay in touch because they were not allowed to have phones at the time. Yujeong shared that the two groups were able to properly hang out and talk after their 7-year contracts ended. Naturally, the host of the channel assumed that the members were not allowed to use their phones for 7 years, to which Yujeong replied that they did not touch their phones once in about 4 years. While phone usage being prohibited might not be the worst secret practice K-pop companies often have, installing CCTV cameras into the members' dorms definitely wins that title. Her confession that the company monitored them so closely to the point they put security cameras into their shoe cabinet shocked many netizens. Yujeong reminisced and said, "Back then, there weren't any specific clauses banning relationships or anything like that, but the company was super strict. They even had CCTV cameras to check whether we were going out or not." She recalled one particular day when she went out to buy some bubble tea and the company immediately called her and questioned her where she was. If these rules were broken, there would be some kind of repercussions for the idols who decided to go against the agency. In the same Konso interview, Yujeong was asked what followed after someone at her company broke one of the rules. Yujeong admitted that even though they didn't have an official clause or anything like that, many of them were simply aware of what would happen. One of the punishments involved the idols being pulled out from all of their practices, vocal lessons, and more. Yujeong's agency used this method of denying these idols their crucial practice lessons as a form of control. When the host remarked that this would allow the idols to rest a lot more, Yujeong agreed, but mentioned that those missed practices would show in the idol's performances on stage, as in someone who was supposed to be at the center is pushed to the side instead. Yujeong backed up Yujeong's words, stating that she felt like she was being gaslighted by the agency into just agreeing with everything. Extreme monitoring, unfortunately, seems to be a common practice among various K-pop companies, even the ones that are considered small. In 2021, the survival show My Teenage Girl sought to form a girl group called Classy. One of the trainee contestants, Judy Kim, spoke up about her life after she joined a new entertainment company as a result of being eliminated from the show. On her Instagram account, Judy explained why she decided to leave the industry altogether, recalling the extreme mental turmoil she went through and the numerous serious injuries she suffered. Judy revealed that her former company controlled her so intensely that she developed a bad sense of paranoia and fear that she was being watched. While it's somehow understandable that companies prohibit their idols from visiting clubs, smoking, or drinking alcohol, Judy's company took their restrictions to another level. She wasn't allowed to do even the most simple things like getting her nails done without letting someone know. If she wanted to change her hair or get a trim on her bangs, she had to notify someone before she went and did it. Her company required Judy to update them on every single place she went to, and she even had to tell them she was going to sleep. Because of this, Judy's anxiety grew and grew until it morphed into a fear that someone was watching her through the window. Naturally, when netizens learned about Judy's story, they were horrified by these conditions and everything that Judy had to endure, reassuring Judy that she made the right decision to leave the harmful environment. While not all entertainment companies are inherently bad, there's still a huge portion of them that don't treat their trainees and artists as human beings, but rather as cash dolls who will fatten up their wallets. There have been numerous stories about former idols who spoke up about never seeing a dime from all of their hard work they've done over the years, as the companies just pocket all of their income. Aaron from New East and Joel from BTL both went through difficult financial times because of their companies. Not too long after BTL debuted in 2014, their company started to face financial difficulties. The situation got so severe that in the end, the members received no money for food, were kicked out of their dorm, and weren't even allowed to get part-time jobs. When Joel confronted the higher-ups in his company and asked them for advice, they only brushed him off and suggested that they should live off their parents' money. Because there was no other option for Joel to make money as they were not allowed to work, he went to his parents for help, and in the end, it took him over 9 years to pay back his parents. Aaron also had to rely on his parents' help. Even though New East debuted in 2012 and their career went on for the next decade, they also didn't make any money in their early years. During those years, Aaron received allowance money from his aunt, money that he then used to feed the entire group, which is why they all managed to survive their trainee and early debut days. It's shocking that some of these idols are reaching millions with their streams, sales, and followers, but still can't afford to put food in their mouths. One of the more prominent idols who often exposes shady entertainment companies is former MOMOLAND's Daisy. In March of 2025, she revealed shocking information that angered K-pop fans. Daisy is very active on her TikTok account, and apart from posting her usual content, she sometimes shares a little bit about her days as an idol. She also discussed some of the lies that are very prominent within K-pop and entertainment companies. She brought up the topic of hiatuses and breaks and revealed that they are not always as they seem. She stated that some companies would rather label the idol's break as a personal hiatus to avoid revealing any actual details. These companies also often lie about the reason why idols go on a hiatus, often about the extent of an injury. Apparently, sometimes these idols aren't injured at all. According to Daisy, companies would pull the injury card when an idol undergoes plastic surgery or other cosmetic procedures. Daisy said, "The official statement may say it's like a fractured arm, and then the idols show up with a cast, whatever it may be, but sometimes they're completely fine and they got plastic surgery." Daisy's statement seemingly invited a lot of criticism towards female idols. On the other hand, many felt that Daisy has all the rights to talk about her experience, even if they're negative. In the same vein, Daisy also spoke up about other weird instances that are kept secret from K-pop fans. For a few months, there's been controversy about companies using an auto pen for signing albums. While Daisy didn't hear about it in her idol days, she did reveal that sometimes the staff members would sign the albums instead of the artist, especially if there were dozens and dozens of albums. The videos garnered a lot of attention, with netizens coming to the comment section to share their own thoughts. One netizen wondered if Bubble and Weverse messages even come from the idols, or if it's just staff members writing them. Another netizen mentioned B2B's Peniel in relation to Daisy's statement about companies lying about hiatuses and breaks. They wrote that a hiatus isn't always even about the idol's health or personal issues, but rather the company is suspending the idol because they did something that went against the company's rules. Another netizen mentioned that they hope companies are not using mental health hiatuses as an excuse for cosmetic procedures, since many fans care deeply about the mental health of K-pop idols and would go above and beyond to make their idols happy. Additionally, a former member of the group Teen Top C.A.P didn't hesitate to call the K-pop environment rotten. He called out companies for controlling their idols to the point that these people feel like toys. He openly admitted that he developed an addiction to alcohol because of how toxic the industry has become. Interestingly enough, he didn't blame just the companies, but the fans and the artists as well. C.A.P especially criticized the fans for being the ones responsible for this culture, and the artists for not being honest and open about how the environment affects them. Another former idol who opened up about his time as an idol and how traumatic it was for him was DPR Ian. Ian's first steps into the industry were in the group C-Clown in 2012. The group disbanded a few years later in 2015. In recent years, Ian has been very vocal about all the trauma he went through during his time in C-Clown and all the pain he had to endure. In a live stream, Ian opened up about signing a slave contract with a company that messed him up pretty badly. He cited fistfights with their manager to be an almost daily occurrence, as well as one of his members having his ribs broken. Ian recalled being treated like a pile of trash on the ground and that the company didn't even consider them as human beings. In an interview with SBS The Feed, he described one of his days when he was in C-Clown, calling the K-pop industry inhumane. Ian recalled waking up at 5 in the morning and practicing until late at night. He also revealed that if someone was just 1 minute late, they'd have to kneel on the floor or sit in the corner as a punishment. He spoke about how most of these trainees don't realize what they're getting themselves into, thinking that the second they are an idol, they will garner immediate success, but reality is much different. In relation to the exhausting environment, he spoke about his mental health. Ian's been extremely open about his experience with DID, or dissociative identity disorder, and how the K-pop industry only triggered it more and more. Ian shared, "Blackmail is a heck of a thing. Everything they made us do, everything they put me through, that triggered the enhancement of DID." While some fans might still think that the life of a K-pop idol is all glitz and glamour, it's thanks to these idols that we now know what these companies might be hiding.